Hello Internet, and welcome back to my Sky Island series. In the last episode we were just out and about exploring when we discovered a mine nearby, and since one of our priorities for a future upgrade to our Sky Island base was a shovel, we decided to head to the mine. A shovel is a very common drop from the miner zombies, and that's what we were after. So over the course of the last episode we fought quite a few zombie miners. We did find several shovels, one of which at least we're going to take back with us. And by at least, I mean clearly we're only going to take one. I don't know why I said at least. And that's more or less what we spent the entirety of the last episode doing. At this point, we do want to drop some things, pick some things up, and get back on our expedition. So everyone, welcome back, I guess. I don't know why I sound this way, but I do. Okay, so we're going to just continue kind of like looting this mine here. We're going to check the tools, make sure we didn't miss anything. I seem to recall there's a first aid kit somewhere that we wanted to pick up, and then we're going to just deal with that right now. I hate that I start every episode with like a 5-minute explanation of what we're going to do, and then we change our plans anyway, so it's a huge waste of time. So I said I would drop things off camera so that you didn't have to watch me decide what we're dropping. So that was a mistake to not do that. Let's make sure we wear our clothing that we dropped in a previous episode. We were trying to lighten just a little bit of weight. So let's grab the Ruger. Is zombie miners? Yeah, we're not worried about the zombie miners. I thought we didn't pick up the Ruger. Is that in our inventory? Sure is. Okay, so at this point we want to be able to stow our nail bat in our backpack, our barbed wire bat, excuse me. We want to store that in our backpack, and we want to hold the shovel in our hands. But in order to do that, we kind of have to make sure we're done fighting. So for now, we should still have a little bit of space in our backpack, and why don't we go loot first, and then we will try to grab a shovel on the way through. These enemies are migrating to the east, although that's right, every time we would go to the west, it seemed like they were tracking us somehow, and I'm not 100% clear on how they were doing that. We were too far away for scent to really be a factor, and we weren't making very much noise, so I'm not sure what to do about that, but that is okay. So we're going to head to the west here. We at this point should have everything on our person that we dropped, our clothing. We picked up the backpack, we picked up our jeans. Yeah, they're moving west again. I don't know what you are doing that for. And we also put on our jacket, which was like the final thing. So if we can just slip into tool storage here and have a look, and then we'll dart up and we will check. Oh, can I not? I can't get through the, there we go. Okay. Get through the trees, and then I mean, we can go in here. It's you're clearly moving closer and closer, but the fence should slow you down again. I don't think you're going to make it through the gap here. So let's have a look. I think these were just like survival kits and things. Toolbox has locking pliers. I guess, you know, at this point, I don't think we need a million more pliers, but, you know, I'm so conditioned by the game to take them. I don't know what we would need a hand pump for. I did say we could take some flares, I don't know, or glow sticks that we're actually going to do that. We don't need another pocket knife. We know we have several knives back at base. We will take socket screwdrivers, and that's probably it. I guess the duct tape, of course, we would take the duct tape. Water purification, it just doesn't, well, it's so tiny. I guess we'll take the water purification tablets, and then we will check this as well. Adjustable wrench, again, just I'm conditioned to take them. We do want the jumper cables to continue setting up power back at base. Always good to have an extra multi-tool, I guess. We just picked up a socket screwdriver set, so we don't need that. And then the large plastic sheet, I believe, is a thing that you actually want for butchery. I'm not 100% on that. It's only, so it's folded up, so it's very small, and of course it's not very heavy because it's you know, it's just plastic. So okay, do we have any empty bottles we would want to fill? This is probably diesel anyway, which we don't super care about. No, it is diesel and gasoline, referred to as precious gasoline in all caps. Former world bowed to their petroleum god as it led them to their ruin. Plenty left over to fuel your inner road warrior. If this gas dispenser doesn't give up the goods for free, you may have to pay at a nearby terminal. Okie doke. And then up here we saw this was all crafting materials. This was not actually, or construction materials. This was not actually stuff we could like super carry with us. A lot of this stuff will be way too heavy and way too voluminous in these giant sacks, canvas sacks and stuff. What the heck is rhodonite? Chunk of rhodonite. It has manganese oxide or dioxide covering and going through its veins, which you can obtain using a chisel. What? But why? What do I need this for? Rhodonite? I've never even heard of this. Is it huge? It's like half a liter, but it's like 5 pounds. Yeah, I don't know what I need that for, so we're just not going to take that. Now, we do actually need soil for one of our upgrades, but I think we're just going to dig a pit back on the Sky Island and not worry about it. Originally, I wasn't going to do that because I don't want to tear up the island and have it look terrible, but I don't think it matters. So, and I think we can actually buy soil with material tokens anyway. So let's go check the bodies now and make sure we didn't miss anything of value. We're going to continue checking these wallets. Oh, I suppose I should be giving commentary instead of just saying what we're looking at. Really not a lot going on today. I've been, I was talking to some ladies, which we briefly touched on previously. It's been 3 of them now. 2 of them ghosted me. One of them I'm pretty sure is ghosting me, but is still nice in person, so I don't know what to make of that. And I don't know how to ask, what they feel about me, because I'm very strange and don't express myself very well. So mostly just been a real weird experience. Strangely hurtful is how I would describe that. I don't really think and feel things the way other people do. We're pretty sure I'm like neurodivergent. I just, it's something I don't mention because some people are very strange about it. I think based on like just interacting with me, people get the vibe that I might have like some like be on the spectrum. But the reality is that if you don't get tested to be assessed whether you're on the spectrum, if you say you're autistic, for example, and you're not an autistic person because you haven't actually been assessed, I'm not saying that's bad. I'm just saying a lot of people have a kind of a problem with that self-diagnosis. So even though I have a lot of therapists that are like, hey man, you sure seem like you're on the spectrum, and that's probably going to explain a ton of your issues and difficulties, and would be like you should go to a doctor to get this assessed because we all think you have autism. I'm still very nervous to do that. In fact, one of my therapists is pushing me pretty hard right now to go get the doctor assessment because she thinks it would be better for me to have that diagnosis and be able to like actually say that to people. Because I think people directly understand if you're like, yeah, no, I have autism. Because if you're like, yeah, no, I have autism spectrum disorder, I think people instantly kind of have an opinion about what that looks like, which might be bad, but it might be good because then I could explain myself in like one phrase instead of constantly over explaining. I don't know how to make sense, internet. Don't worry. Let's not talk about this. So I have no idea what we should drop here. We actually don't have anything that's particularly huge. That would be a very easy thing to drop. Obviously the arc welder is quite large. It only takes up about 2 liters of volume. What we're trying to do here is make our baseball bat fit in our hiking backpack. And I don't really know how to do that. I guess what we would do is wear the Ruger, and hopefully that frees enough space for us to just pick up the bat. It does. Okay, so that easily solved that problem. And then we're going to wield one of these shovels so that we have that in our hands. And I'm pretty sure it's a terrible weapon. Actually, if we're going to take one, we should take one that's in good condition. Do we have any that are in better condition? Yes, we do. Yes, we do. So we should now have the shovel in our hands. We have the bat in our backpack. We are wearing the Ruger. So we have all of the large items that we wanted, and the shovel can't fit in anything. So no matter what we do, this has to be the thing that we carry back in our hands. So we can't go back to the evac shelter to get that solar panel. I think we're good here. It looks like they really didn't have loot on them beyond some like basic tools and stuff. Obviously the electric lantern is nice, but we already have one. And this is the like ultralight battery, which is a much lower charge. We don't really want that necessarily. These are UPS. So we're not going to take the batteries out of those, and the MP3, everything else has like a low battery to it. So it's not really worth it, I think. And I'm just doing another quick search here, really not seeing anything. Looks like the mining helmets have batteries in them, so we actually can unload the mining helmets, it looks like. So if we unload, say, this 94, wait a minute, oh, it has a face shield on it, of course. So if we unload that, let's have a look. Was that a light battery? Actually, I'm sure it says in the, yes, light battery. So that's one very charged light battery. This cell phone has a highly charged battery, and we'll do like one more helmet just to take a few things back with us. And we're not going to break into the offices probably. I don't think there's tool storage or anything in there. So I think we're actually good, although I don't think you can climb with a shovel in both hands. You can. Okay, I thought it would be both hands and we wouldn't be able to do that. And then this is where the first aid kit was. So we'll have a look here. First aid kit kit, drugs. Let's expand that first aid kit. We will take, because we don't want the box necessarily, so we'll take the bandages, of course, the medical gauze, aspirin, antiseptic. I guess we'll take the saline, but honestly, recently the pink eye PR that made saline a little bit more valuable, where they basically added pink eye and some stuff to the game that relates to that, and saline solution was then a more valuable thing because you would use it to wash out your eyes in a situation where you were exposed to like boomer bile in your eyes. However, that change was later reverted, so I'm not really sure where that's at. I guess we'll take it. It's tiny, right? Now it's like not a tiny bottle, but it's okay. We'll take the medical tape and super glue as well for adhesives while we would be crafting and things like that. Okay, and we're gonna leave a lot of these like flares, glow sticks, stuff like that behind. We just don't need them. Like normally I would say we take them in case we would need them, but I don't think I've ever used a flare in this game. It's just I don't like consumable lights like that in general, and I wouldn't take them with me even if I did. It's much easier just to keep a flashlight in our backpack and use that if we need light for something. So yeah, I think we're done here. Let's have a look at the map. Where would we go now? Actually, let's remove that note because that's where we dropped our bat. Oh, danger. What? No, I thought it was capital R to remove. Dangerous area. What does that mean? Why does it say dangerous area? I've never noticed that before. So delete note is capital D. I'll try to remember that. I mean, I guess we just head for extraction at this point, because we have what we wanted. Someone did leave me a comment saying that quartered carcasses count for the animal carcass crafting thing, and I'm not actually sure if that's true. Well, I'm sure it's true. They probably wouldn't have said it if it wasn't, a thing. But what I mean is I don't know if it means I have to have all 4 quarters from one animal or how that works exactly. So on a larger animal, even quartering it is going to take a great deal of time, and if we have to take back all 4 quarters, then we're basically still carrying a giant carcass that we can't really fit in our backpack very easily. Obviously, it's a lot easier to fit a quarter in your backpack than a whole cow, for example, but it doesn't mean it's easy. And then on smaller creatures, we wouldn't quarter them probably. So I'm still a little on the fence about the whole bring back carcasses thing. But yeah, let's, I guess, just head for extraction. If we come down here and we find a vehicle, maybe we'll go back for the horde. I'm surprised we haven't found fungals. Remember, this was a very fungal heavy area, including this tower here, or excuse me, fungal bloom. So I really thought they would be over here, but we haven't seen any indication of that, and it makes me wonder if it's pretty clear up here at the warp draining evolved horde as well. And I'm pretty sure if we want to go that way, we can just drive back all the way up here. So if we find a vehicle, maybe we'll do that. This vehicle doesn't work, by the way, in case you missed the last episode. All right, so let's get on the road. I guess probably shouldn't walk straight south into the monsters, would be a dumb thing for me to do. So let's go around here. Anyway, yeah, thinking a lot about the whole neurodivergent thing. They want me to get assessed. I don't know if I'm going to do it or not. It's just really been coming up a lot lately because I've been interacting with people a lot more than I previously did. I've been talking to a lot of women. I get very I was going to say I get very lonely, but I think people misread that as I want to have intimacy, which is not what I mean when I say that. I just get very lonely, wish I had more friends, that kind of stuff. Very isolated life that I live. So I've been talking to people more. It was a goal of mine this year to be more active socially and try to interact with people. We did see black rats. Let's back it up. Because black rats, number one, I believe they attack you, so we wouldn't, yeah, they're tracking us. Okay, well, they would be tiny, so they would be hard to hit in melee, but they are small animals that would fit easily in our backpack and probably don't present very much danger to us. I imagine they do 1d2 damage, something like that, maybe with a special bite attack. You know what, I'm going to look them up just out of curiosity about how big they are and what their dodge is and that kind of stuff. Okay, looks like there's 2 black rats. One is black rat, omnivorous, harbinger of pestilence, famine and mange. Yeah, I think this is the one we were looking at. What's the other one? They appear identical. So you probably can't see this because I cut off my bar. This one is referred to as a black ratkin, and this one is specifically a black rat. So I'm wondering if that's a faction thing or if it gives rat samples or something like that. Black rat, looks like their upgrades are pretty different as well. Yeah, so the rat doesn't actually upgrade, but the ratkin does into the more mutated humanoid, the Mouse of Nema and the Mouseketeer, I believe, are humanoid rat mutants. So that's probably why they're distinct creatures. So anyway, we don't know which is one we're dealing with, but it looks like their base stats and information are the same. So it looks like they deal 1d1 bash damage plus 1 cut, so they will always deal 2 damage assuming they hit us. They are dodge of only 2, but they're probably tiny. I forget how you see a creature's size, and tiny makes it harder to hit them on top of, you know, the dodge and stuff like that. And it looks like they trigger if we're weak, or if we get too close they will run away. Why don't we go over here? Well, we can't really do much with the Ruger. Let's see what we can do with these guys here. A lot of them actually. So if we get close, I mean, this bird let us get close too. Why don't we drop? We probably can melee them with the baseball bat. I think the rats at least will attack us, which will give us a chance to kind of do something about that. I'm not sure how close. Yeah, the aim is never going to get good. If we look here, the precise aim is still like 10% chance to hit. So I don't think the rifle is actually very like plausible. Let's favorite this and drop it and hopefully not lose track of where we dropped that. We're going to wield our bat. I don't know if this is going to work, but we might as well try since we're right here. Hello, rats. Can't really see where you got to. Monster in the way. No, let's turn off auto travel mode so we can actually take a swing. I'm pretty sure we're just going to miss a ton. Okay, we did get it. Pulped corpse of black rat. So let's pick that up. How big is this? It's about 0.6 pounds and 0.2 liters. So we'll grab that. And if we could just find where the others went. Here's one. I don't know how likely we are to actually hit. Unfortunately, it did not get nicked on the raspberry bush. So that's 2. And remember, we need 4 total because we have one back at base, which is a weasel. So if we can just keep doing this, okay, that's 3. I'm surprised this is working. I really thought they would run further away. This one is directly south, but it is fleeing, but it looks like their speed in general is not really faster than us at this point. So if we just keep looking, we also see some groundhogs, which they do appear to be fleeing, so I don't know how helpful that is. We are catching up, but you're heading into a thickly wooded area where we might not be able to track you very easily. Don't step on the hard terrain. We lost sight of it. Okay, I'm losing sight. It's to the north. Okay, no, don't step in the raspberry bush. It's so hard because every time I step on a bad terrain, it gets like lots of movement to get away from me. There we go. That's 4. Okay, so that should take care of our carcass requirement. And now all we have to do is find our way back to our stuff and hope we didn't lose it, which is a possibility, but we, you know, hopefully is okay. Why do we have so many new recipes? Oh, I guess I don't know why. What would these be? Bashing? Oh, maybe our like melee skills got higher, and so we got yeah, bashing weapon of 2, wooden boat hulls, yeah, from our fabrication going up. So let's mark these as red. I never used the new feature anyway, so it doesn't really matter. And then was this like chunks of meat? What is this? Bloody meat chunks that I can't pick up? Okay. So let's, well, oh, right. I went into the crafting menu to verify that these work as carcasses, but I'm sure that they do. This would be the vengeance of the island. We have 4. So I'm assuming the one back at base did not rot, but if we spot another one on our way back, we will try to detour and get that one. I see the raven, but it's not going to let me get close. See a lot of ravens actually. I do see a black rat. Where are you? We did head very south as well when we were chasing the rats. So let's head north. Maybe we can get this one as we're backtracking. I'm just a little worried we're not going to be able to find our stuff again. And killing that rat gave us the 100 kill achievement. Very good. So we will grab that rat as well. And then if we tab for items, we cannot see our items currently. If we look on the map, oh, I'm so glad that we looked at this because apparently we are very far west of where we should be, which I did not realize. I'm glad we turned on auto notes. I never would have been able to find these items again. We just have to look around. Oh, there it is. Fantastic. So we didn't lose anything, which is great news. So we'll wear the rifle and we will wield the shovel and we will store the bat in our backpack. Do we have everything? We sure do. And now we have 5 carcasses. I would immediately craft this item so that we can get it out of our inventory and save ourselves that little bit of extra space. Oh man, I just cannot navigate this menu sometimes. However, we require the warp obelisk, which is only available back at base. So I am just completely shocked that we were able to do not only that, but also grab a shovel in the same expedition. That's fantastic news. And I think with that, we're gonna head out of here unless we find a vehicle down here at extraction. So yeah. Someone did recommend, by the way, they were like, hey, just go into the forest and wander around until you find the spider spawns. You know, you've probably seen those before. It's just a big webby area of the forest. I think they're, what are they called? Jumping wood spiders or something like that is or trap, maybe they're trapdoor spiders. I don't remember which or which, but yeah, there's a special thing that can appear in the forest that's basically just like a webbed up area that has a few spiders in it. I believe some of the other like rural cabins can also spawn with spiders in them, so that's a possibility, you know, of something we could have been seeking. And of course they would give chitin in addition to maybe finding some spider eggs as food, things like that. So we have a body drop here. Is this marked on the map, or is this just a solo corpse that's just sort of out here? Looks like it's just an individual. Let's grab, oh, it's a kid zombie. And it's not even a zombie, it's just a kid, but they're wearing tactical pants, dress shoes, and wool socks. Wait, why don't you have a shirt on? Okay, well, it doesn't matter. Anyway, -3 pounds. What? Okay. It doesn't matter. Anyway, so they don't have anything on them. Why? This is weird, and it makes me sad. There's just a kid's corpse out here. I probably shouldn't say that on YouTube. Man, this game, a lot of things I say in this game are things I shouldn't say on YouTube. Like in the last episode, I said something like, I'm gonna take off my pants and jacket. And I was like, oh, that sounds like something else. I meant the jacket as in what I'm wearing, but you know, it's like a famous, CD or something back in the day was named that, like take off your pants and jacket, and it was like, okay, cotton sheet. So maybe the kid was over here trying to staunch their wounds with a cotton sheet, bleeding everywhere, and then went down. It's sad, man. What the heck? Oh, okay. So this is interesting. Jose Arce, Arca, Psycho. We spotted a survivor. So unfortunately, number one, they're going to have a vision radius that's basically identical to ours, so they probably have seen us. They sure have, and they've spotted, they're attacking to kill. So what we could do, because NPCs can't sprint because of their, like they're just not made to. They always move at a constant speed as far as I'm aware. So what we could do is sprint to the east and try to duck south, and hopefully they travel north of us. Obviously defeating them would get us their gear. Like who knows what they have in their backpack. It could be amazing. We just don't know. But they are wearing a fast draw holster, which implies they might have a sidearm. And even though they have a stone spear in their hands, that doesn't mean they can't shoot us in the face. So this expedition has been super, super valuable and really really good, really important. We got the shovel, we got the carcasses. So I'm actually going to probably just sprint away from here to the east towards the forest. They probably will follow us, but I'm guessing we're about the same speed. It does not say how fast they are. I think if we look in this menu, it will tell us. So if we move over manually, it does not say, it just says aware of our presence. Yeah, so again, NPCs will have roughly the same vision radius that we do, barring a few, you know, circumstances of darkness or something like that. I don't know what its speed is, or his speed, I should say, or, you know, presuming that Jose is a he. But so I think we're gonna head just away, picks up a pine bough, and I'm not gonna sprint unless I have to. If we can just move this direction and keep them out of our vision radius as we circle around, that would be fine. The fact that they're labeled Psycho is pretty clear that they're not interested in befriending us or being an NPC follower. That actually went very smoothly. I really thought they would beeline directly towards us, so I'm glad we were able to circumvent that situation entirely, because you just never know. They have a quick draw holster. It's possible they're just wearing that because we, NPCs in this game tend to spawn with some form of tactical gear, you know, lots of belt loops, good backpacks, holsters, knives, sheaths, things like that. So it is possible he was just wearing that gear, but it is also possible that he could have pulled out, you know, a hand cannon and destroyed us in one bullet. Looks like he has not moved from his position. Now, NPCs are tracked on the map, and I believe that this would update if he had been pursuing us. It would have updated his location more closely towards us to the east. So I think we're actually safe here, but that was a very scary moment. I have not seen a hostile Psycho NPC before. I don't know what their deal is. I assume it's just another hostile, bandit thug type NPC. Unfortunately, a lot of the NPCs in this game, unless they're attached to a faction, they're usually very hostile. And I really dislike that. I don't like the idea that everyone immediately starts trying to kill each other as soon as the world ends. I don't think it would be like that. I think that's a very common trope in especially in zombie fiction, right? It's like a classic Romero thing where it's like, oh, the humans were the real enemy all along. And it's like, sure, humans are bad, and I don't have a problem with those stories existing, but also like, the zombies can just be the enemy too. We don't actually have to make humans the enemy in every single thing. It's part of why I hate The Walking Dead so much, is by the end it's just like supervillain style enemies. Everyone's an over the top hateful human being that does god awful things, and it's just like, they're just like, yeah, people would devolve after the apocalypse. It's like, yeah, but there would also be a lot of people working together and trying to survive together, and rebuild society and blah blah blah, etc. So unfortunately we have not spotted a vehicle. That NPC has me shook up a little bit. We have about 45 minutes left on our expedition. We did get a message as we were moving here about a warp pulse. So I think we probably just leave at this point. It's not that we can't stay, but we've effectively gathered the things that we already want to gather. And that NPC reminded me like, hey, you can die in this game. If he had run towards us, shot us in the face, that would have been the end of the run, right? We would have lost the shovel, we'd have lost the carcasses. That would be 2 upgrades that slipped out of our hands. So I actually think it's mostly prudent here just to head back. So I think that's what we're gonna do. Are we actually like close to a forest? I know this is dumb, we do this every time, but we might as well grab some sticks while we're out here. Anyway, what was I talking about? Oh, the whole neurodivergent. Look, internet, don't judge me. I don't know. It's just been hard for me lately talking to people, especially being ghosted is like a super hurtful thing because I have a lot of like abandonment issues. And because of my particular brand of like mental health stuff, I always sort of blame myself. So when someone ghosts you, in my head, it's like, oh, I did something wrong. I upset them. Whatever. But in reality, that's like never the case. It's always just they don't want to have a difficult conversation. And nowadays it's a lot easier to just never speak to someone again than confront them. So like, when I was a teenager, for example, let's say when I was like 15 and I was in school or whatever, and you have a friend you're talking to or a potential love interest or whatever, if you didn't want to see them anymore, you had to kind of tell them that. You couldn't just disappear because you saw each other at school or, maybe church or wherever people go, as kids. So you couldn't just like disappear. You actually had to have a conversation and be like, hey, I really don't want us to hang out anymore. And with the advent of technology, obviously you don't have to do that anymore. You could just never text them back and that would be the end of it. And while I understand why people do that, because it is difficult to have those conversations, or even if it's not difficult, it's still awkward and kind of like, it's not a fun thing to do. So it's a lot easier to just never speak to a person again. But when that person has a lot of like self-esteem stuff tied to feeling unloved and uncared for and abandonment issues and stuff, it just sort of stacks up and is very draining on my mental health and my like emotional, just like energy, I guess would be the word. Also, I'm like a hardcore introvert, so talking to people in general is very difficult for me to navigate. So it's just been a little weird, and it's got me thinking a lot about basically like my therapist telling me like, hey, I want you to get diagnosed because I'm like very strongly suspect that you are on the spectrum and you probably have ASD, and it might make your life easier if you get that diagnosis. So I'm feeling real weird about all of that, and apparently I'm ranting about it in a video, so we're doing that, I guess. Yeah, it looks like we have everything. It's really the shovel, the Ruger, the baseball bat, and then we're looking for, just to verify the carcasses, but they're rat carcasses, so they're very, very small. 5 pulped corpses of a rat. Even if we butchered these, we would probably get scraps of meat. We did pulp them, by the way. Every single one of them we overkilled with damage. So even if we had an extra one here, this is not like good butcher like fodder. We're gonna get basically nothing out of these, not even one chunk of meat. Probably more likely we would go back and deal with the weasel, because I think the weasel was not pulped. Butcher the weasel corpse, we actually might get some proper chunks of meat, probably only one, but it's something. So yeah, we do have everything we need, so I think we're gonna head back. Oops, yes, send me back to the Sky Island. Return home safely using a designated exit point. You have earned 50 material tokens for your success. I never did count how many material tokens we have. I'm pretty sure it's like 300-400 at this point. We should probably use those for something. Okay, so why don't we, the other carcass should be up here, I think. So if we clear all of our filters, and we search for weasel, damaged corpse of a weasel. It's only 1/3 of a pound yet. Okay, so that's not going to give us meat really either. And I guess we'll move this, I don't know, east is clear, right? Oops. And we want to go this way, and we will move that, and we'll just have a look here, see if we can pick that up. We can. Let's drop basically everything else. Let's drop all this stuff. Keep the corpses, of course. So we did get a lot of welding wire. I think we dropped a lot of the rods as we were going. It looks like we mostly have, it's a mixture of brazing rods and welding rods, about 1,200 of each, 12 to 1,300 of each. That's still quite good, honestly, to find all of those, even though like we haven't done any metal working at this point, but we have found multiple welding tanks. We have 2 arc welders. We have 2 acetylene torches. We are equipped at this point to do some welding if that's something that we want to do. We just need the skills, basically. So let's drop all of this. Of course, we will drop the shovel. What time is it? It is 4:30 in the evening. We can do another expedition. If we craft these things now, we can't go on another expedition as early because I think each of them is going to take like, usually, what were they before? 16 minutes per upgrade. So the Vengeance of the Island, 16 minutes. The Hollow Carver is the next room upgrade, which we don't have now that I think about it, because we need sheet metals and steel frames. Those are going to be a little hard to loot because if we get put down in a field, like these are easy to obtain in a town where there are vehicles and there are places that we can harvest sheet metal, like ovens, things like that. But in a field, I don't know where we would get sheet metal. Maybe from shelving units in different buildings would have them, I'm not sure. As for the steel frames, we're most likely going to get those through this, which would be steel frame, requires infinity ore, and it requires 100 material tokens, of which we have 350. Okay, so we have less of these than I thought we did, unfortunately. But remember, it takes like 45 minutes minimum to get a steel frame down on the earth side. So do we want to make a trip just to get like a steel frame to avoid the spending the material tokens? Probably not, right? I think we'll just craft the infinity ore thing. If I recall correctly, we have just enough warp shards for one of those items. So the infinity ore requires, oh no, and I think we have the pipes and we have the nuts and bolts. I think we used all of our metal for crafting, so I don't know that we can even make that. Let's pop down to where our spare parts are. Oh, we do have everything, we just don't have the warp shards. Okay, good. So let's craft that. Wait, if we craft it down here, isn't it placeable on the main island? Do I have to come up here to craft it? Okay, I don't know how Sky Island works. Let's just make sure. Let's grab our steel. So let me grab all the stuff we need here. And we will head up top here, and now we're looking for our warp shards. That's the final component. Warp shards, it said we have 6, but apparently we have 4. That's whatever, it doesn't matter. I'm sure there's some laying around. And then we need the obelisk, which would be this thing. So let's move south, because I don't know if this automatically places it somewhere on the island, or if we have to place it down and move it around like we did with this particular statue. This statue right here. Cannot speak in, it's fine. It's not like I, am trying to make a living by speaking. Why don't I have any of this stuff? I just picked it all up. Oh, apparently I put it all in my brazier. Yeah, you know what you don't want? All your crafting materials in your brazier. Try this again. So I wasn't going to craft this stuff. I was just going to go on another expedition. It's going to take us like 40 minutes just to craft the things that we want to craft. So I was like, well, we should go on an expedition and do some daylight. But I kind of like alternating between a little base stuff and just not going on another expedition right away. Because each expedition takes like 3 episodes and each like base thing is like 1 episode. So it's not a great balance to just chain expedition after expedition. Let's make the infinity ore crucible. We don't have our table, but it doesn't matter. Okay, you craft the infinity ore crucible. We are wielding it. Oh, okay. Why? Wait a minute. No, it said it would, like, one of them's a tree, right? I assumed these would be placed down. Infinity ore crucible, miniature tangle of metal that resembles a dust bunny made of barbed wire. Okay, I probably should have read that it's 0.01 liters and 0.01 pounds. It twists in upon itself endlessly, folding and unfolding in ways that don't seem possible. Activate this on your island to place an infinity ore, which can be used as a catalyst or turn material tokens into metal resources. So we activate this and it will turn into crafter can't craft that. Swiper, no swiping. Okay, that's weird. Let's hit activate and just plop this down. Does it matter where it is? I don't really think it does. Deploy item. Oh, just a pile of wreckage. Classic. Classic little pile of wreckage. Okay, so take down infinity. So we can move it if we want to. Can we grab it as well? We sure can. That's interesting. So now if I go to my materials tab, we can just spawn materials into existence. So these require material tokens. We'll use favorited ingredients. That's fine. We need 2 steel frames. What was the other thing we needed? Sheet metal. Sheet metal is a little easier to obtain, so we're not going to spend, well, I mean, we need 8 of them. It would be 160. The steel frames is going to be 200. So I think are just shy of needing what we need anyway, or having what we need anyway. Yeah, I think next expedition, we'll just try to seek out some sheet metal specifically. And then while we're doing this, we might as well go downstairs and craft that Vengeance of the Island. That way our next expedition will have the whatever kill missions or whatever that's called. So we're looking for Vengeance of the Island. Oh, that's right. We need the Warp Obelisk, of course. So we'll head up here and we will craft the Vengeance of the Island. So again, not getting the benefit of our table, but doesn't really matter very much. Okay, bloodthirst surges through you like electricity. The clarity of the world and its natural flow pierces your mind. In every future expedition, you will be tasked to find and extinguish living entities that have absorbed warp. Do this and you will be rewarded. So this confuses me because we've been getting those missions, even though we never crafted this to unlock those slaughter missions. So I'm not 100% how these differ from the ones we've already been seeing, but you know, it's whatever. It's something for us to do to hopefully get more warp shards. And then the other one was the room expansion, which we don't, well, we can do that now, I guess. But let's check what the upgrade is. So we're looking for, I think, upgrade expeditions, no. Construction, no. Empower the warp obelisk, no. So even though we unlock those missions, it doesn't look like there's an upgrade for those missions. Oh yeah, can you heal me? Am I still, yeah, I'm a little injured. We should be remembering to do this between. Heal me for free. You only free until you survive 10 expeditions. Yeah, I wish it told me which expedition I was on, to be honest, because I don't really remember. Oh wait, we can, right? Expedition stats. So we've done 7. We've won all 7. Yes, we have. We've only completed 2 missions, 0 slaughter missions complete. Current difficulty, yeah, it doesn't matter. Check my upgrade stats. What's that? Island rank 0 of 2. I don't know what that would be. Expedition lengths, we know we haven't upgraded that. Starts, yeah, we still are looking for that basement stuff, like the RPG dice and all of that. Bonus pulses, don't know what that means. Target reveal distance, yeah, I don't know what any of that really necessarily means. Warp cloak duration, slaughter missions unlocked. Yeah, so there is no upgrade for the slaughter missions. We've gotten the first of 1. Exit per expedition, never upgraded that. Missions, never upgraded that. Mission tiers. Okay, so we haven't really done very much at all, I guess. It doesn't tell me, oh, construction stats. I was gonna say it didn't tell me how many things I upgraded. So it looks like it's only the entrance and main room currently, but it has 4 upgrades and we're about to do the second one. Okay, you know, okay. It's something. The mod's in progress, right? They haven't updated it in a while, but obviously it's in progress. They can add other rooms later, you know. It's not a hard thing to do. The hard part was setting everything up that they've already set up. They can do, you know, expansions later and not really have a problem. Anyway, I think at this point we are going to call the episode. Just a great expedition. We getting that shovel makes me happy, but then being able to get the carcasses on top when that was initially our goal is just so nice as well. And I'm glad we were able to find our crap after I dropped it in the forest and could have easily lost all of it forever. So that's nice. Everyone, for now, thank you for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Sorry I rambled about my neurodivergence and or potential autism. I don't know. It's just really been gnawing at me lately with the social stuff, and it's been on my mind, and I shouldn't talk about some things on camera because people don't necessarily understand or want to hear those things, and then because of the nature of my thing, I'm always apologizing, which many people find off-putting as well. So it's a whole thing. Everyone, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. I, of course, will be back in the near future with more content, and I'll see you next time.